Get to know all your favorite VRChat DJs all in one place. This is VRCDJ Live.
Man, we're all getting hit pretty hard when it comes to the idea of spring break, and it's either this month or the fact that we've celebrated far too long for St. Patrick's Day on Tuesday, but I'm just saying that between all the events that go on in VRChat and everything that is going on in our personal lives, holy cow, things have started to really pick up. But we're really glad to have you here for VRCDJ Live. I'm Rob Roman, your host, and if you're brand new to the program, we talk about everything when it comes to DJing and club ownership and VJing and even community members, which we actually have a few members of our community over here. And very excited for our special guest here on the program, and we're really glad to have you here, part of our program too. We hear every week from the community and people from our rave community how much they love our community, that we want to continue to have these conversations. It's important. You know, a lot of the IRL DJs right now, they're talking about specific things. We want to talk about specific things, especially those that are just starting off and they're beginner DJs, testing the waters and also kind of understanding what it's like to live in the limelight and hopefully potentially make a career out of it. And wouldn't you know it, we do have our next guest here on the program. He's an active DJ performing a wide range of genres from psytrance, hardstyle, UKG, neurofunk, funky house, and more. Has been featured at so many clubs, including Darkside, Floofs and Frequencies, Club Neon, Sonar, and more. And not only a performer, which I'd love to try to get into a little bit more, but also co-club owner, event organizer, and wannabe dancer. Please welcome to the VRCDJ Live Studios, CopperTFox.
Hi, I'm honored to be here. A little bit nervous, but excited, kind of as well.
I was gonna say, because I mean, you literally were just at an event, whether you were DJing or you had to run an event. But it's interesting because of just that. You have a lot of people that are just like they actually have to put that in their schedule that they're doing something. So, did you have at least to have a little bit of downtime before you came over here to come to the show?
Not really. I literally was like really rushed to say, "Oh yeah, thank you for playing to the last DJ." Like, "Oh yeah, thank you," and I had someone for open decks, but I had a friend who's now taking care of that DJ as well. So it was a bit not much downtime, but well, we still had a little bit of a yap before.
I feel like that's kind of important too, especially when it comes to, you know, I think we see a lot of DJs do that too, where they go from one event to next and the next, and they have very little downtime. And we always want to ask those types of questions of just like, how you feeling? Is this too much for you? But, you know, again, we do bring up the topic a lot about performing too often, or let's just say, you know, you got the DJ that performs like three times a night, and I'm like, oh well, I mean that's kind of cool, but at the same time, you do need to kind of you know, leave yourself open to relaxation and things like that, and even in the idea of co-club ownership, you know, like it is a time commitment. You know, you do have to give yourself a little bit of downtime as well as, you know, work tons of hours to put together these style of events. But definitely really happy to have you here, and thank you for taking a little bit of time to come on the show. And I wanted to kind of start because it just seems like the past couple of months you've just been all over the place. You've been either performing, again, co-club ownership. You know, I haven't really seen a lot of your dancey stuff. I know you were saying wannabe dancer, and I know you post a lot of videos on YouTube. I guess we could always just start with, when are we going to start seeing some dance moves?
Well, so the wannabe dancer part is really just, it's nothing that I like officially dance for like a club or something. It's just more like especially for like a few of my friends who are DJing, it's just I'm a little bit more passionate about what I call dancing. I don't know. It's like weird jumping around. It's like it's like a weird style of like shuffling and like jump style or some stuff. Like it looks a bit crazy. I put like way too much energy into it, but I just enjoy doing that. And yeah, there's nothing, like I said, nothing official. It's just like I'm really passionate about for some of my friends
Yeah,
that DJ
but
want to
not for
show them
nothing too.
how good
Like,
they
you know, we do bring up the topics from time to time about having a lot of motion as a DJ. You can't just be standing up there and push a button and then wait for the song to kind of end before you do a thing. You kind of have to have a little bit more interaction. You have to kind of point to people and wave and do a little dance or something. And I know moving forward, we haven't had those topics yet. We haven't talked about these topics yet. In the community, because I feel like most of the time everybody's just there to listen to the music in general. What kind of process is that for you? I mean, do you find that a little bit of dancing into your sets is kind of important?
Oh yeah. So when it comes to DJing, I'm like, I'm always thinking about, should I just DJ in desktop because I have better performance? Because when I was playing my birthday set, I played with stems and horrible. It was like diving so much. But then again, I'm like, I like to move around and say I'm very energetic when I DJ. So I like to, even show that to people. And when it comes to, I mean, it's always nice to see people dance to your sets. But then again, I have to have my the avatar tunneling a little bit to like a few meters, so I don't see like the people that are like further in the back or something. But it's always something that makes you smile as a DJ and happy when you see people dance. So I'd say it do be a little bit important for to at least move a little bit
I would think
and
that
just
there is
not.
an immediate difference between a desktop DJ and someone that's in VR. Obviously, you work with what you got. I mean, if you don't have VR and you can be a desktop DJ, go ahead and do that. But I would say someone who is continuously succeeding with the VR DJ scene, has that been DJing in VR? Has that been better for you? Has it worked better for you? And how have you been able to make it work in your favor?
Uh, s- yeah, I mean, there is, for example, Tatsu, who is very, very energetic in his what he is doing and in desktop. So yeah, it's not really that important, I'd say, to be in VR or like for body to DJ. Um, but even DJing in VR sometimes even like the amount of mistakes I make just because of those index controllers is is yeah, it's sometimes a little bit annoying when you just okay, this is gonna be amazing, Q button.
So, I mean, let's take this. I want to take this conversation a little bit further because I have been thinking a little bit about it too. Because I feel like we have a lot of partnerships. We've got a lot of important developers and people that make modernized VR equipment and stuff like that. I would think that they would know that there's a huge DJ scene in here. And so, I guess my first question would be: have you seen any kind of new takes on the knuckles, because the knuckles controllers work out really great as far as like hand expression and stuff like that. For the DJs, you know, you either got to wear it on your wrist or you kind of have to work your way around it. But have you seen any kind of new kind of glove or, you know, modernized technology, or what would you want in replace of that?
I mean, there's always the Quest hand tracking stuff, and I don't know from whom these the gloves are that who made the gloves. I don't know, but every time I think about using the hand tracking, it's just I mean, even if it's just for DJing, it's always a bit wonky. You have to like look at you. For me, it's not even working that well. The amount of times I just struggle to get the lock into place so you don't move around is a bit of a hassle. But I actually think that the Quest hand tracking is the best way to go because it's just you don't have anything in your hand. Your hands are just free. So, but I mean, there are the butterfly things, but I don't think they work as controllers.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm
hand
sure. I'm
tracking.
sure in the future, as far as like actual hand tracking or something like that, like I have seen the butterfly slimes, and they're looking really fun. But at the same time, they look super thin, and you're like, I don't know. I hope the technology's there. But also too, like, people keep forgetting that there's distractions in everyone's room, so tracking may not be as fluent as kind of how you want it to be. Let me ask you this, and this is gonna sound like a really cheesy question. Do you think that there's I mean, we have popularity of DJs in here currently, and they'll get over the fact that they have to DJ in virtual reality. That you could DJ in desktop, but virtual reality is such a cool thing to do. Do you think because of that hindrance of holding on to a controller, or not even just going handless with the Quest, do you think that will hinder future DJs in the future to want to perform in here?
I mean, it is for sure a little bit of an obstacle to overcome. When you have like to deal with your controllers, or even just the headset, to be honest. Like many DJs use like an overlay or something to have their DJ program open, stuff like this. But I tried it, but I'm not a big fan of it. So the Quest Pro is very open because of the face tracking stuff like this. So I do look underneath my headset, but it causes to, when I DJ, like have my eyes closed a lot of times. And Newsphere is a bit complaining about that because he likes taking pictures. It's like, oh, you have like your eyes closed most of the time. But I'd say if you're willing to overcome the little bit, like I said, a little bit of an obstacle with the controllers, then you can still be a good DJ and show your expression with a little bit less of obstacles.
Yeah, well, I'm sure we'll get to all that too. But again, this is it's VRCDJ Live, and we're sitting here with CopperTFox, and it's a live show. We're doing it live. We have an actual guest. We have a guest audience here. We got some people that are here and enjoying our content and enjoying our guests, and feel free to ask all of the questions during the show, whether it is DJ related or maybe you want to get to know CopperTFox a little bit. And so, like, it's funny, when we were first starting off the program, we were discussing that idea of like when people are coming in here to watch the DJs, sometimes they're there to support their favorite DJ, sometimes they're there to just listen to music. Sometimes they're just there because a friend is there and they're either catching a vibe or they're understanding. Have you had a lot of people approach you at the end of your sets and be like, "Oh, great set," or I loved when you did this. Have you gotten to that level of fame yet, where people are just approaching you?
Yeah, for sure. It's always like, funny enough, I think that the most of the times people approach you and say and tell you it was an amazing set is when I personally think it's like, it wasn't an amazing set. There was a mistake. But when you are in the club vibing, like the normal club goers don't really notice when you like do a bad transition or something. So even though you as a DJ are like, it wasn't an amazing set, hearing people tell you afterwards, it's like, oh, it was amazing. It's still, it's like, maybe it wasn't that bad.
And it's so hard
But
to be
yeah.
able to determine that too. You got a lot of fresh new DJs in here, and they're constantly worried about messing up or having a bad transition. And I think I don't know if it's just a modern age. Maybe you can answer that for me, but I feel like we've kind of gotten over that. I think we've gotten over the fact that, like, even if you go to the club or the bar, there could be another DJ that could have a much worse transition than you, or their equipment could die. And at the same time, the crowd's either they're drunk or they're happy with their friends and they don't notice too often. But do you think we've carried on from that? Do you think that people aren't too hyper focused in on that, at least nowadays?
Yeah, I like 100%. It's like I have to say, it's even it puts always a little bit of a smile on my face when I hear that the DJ is like, I hear that transition, or when it's like, a little bit of a bigger mistake, I'd say. It's, I don't know, there's like something that shows, these people are playing live music. Not that I want to, talk trash about people that play pre-recorded, if you don't have the basically the equipment, or your internet is like not the best or something, like, to each their own. But it puts a little bit more of emotion into a set, I'd say. So yeah, it's this little, he's just, even the best DJ. It's like, yeah, he's still, human and makes mistakes. So I always say that transitions don't really matter that much in VR, as long as the music is amazing.
Yeah, because you definitely want to be able to capture a vibe, and at least with a lot of the DJs, that's what they're trying to attempt to do. Is besides capturing the whatever genre that you're doing, capturing another vibe is super important, especially leading into a weekend where you have off and you want to be able to celebrate and be excited for. I know we're gonna kind of break down the whole pre-recorded set thing a little bit later. One of the things that gets talked about from time to time, but at the same time, I feel like sometimes we don't really care about it, is festivals. And they do pre-recorded sets. Some of them do pre-recorded sets of festivals just in case they lose power, just in case a piece of hardware goes down. And I would think that the professional DJs don't like that either, but at the same time, it's kind of just a safety net and a safety tool just in case. But starting off, you want to make those mistakes. So I want to make sure that we'll talk a little bit about it later on in the program, because that's also super important too. And not to completely debunk a lot of what we're talking about on the show, I want to just make sure that everybody realizes at home that, there are people that are genuinely interested in wanting to come in here to perform. The DJ scene has literally been growing in here for about 7 or 8 years. I don't think it ain't going away anytime soon. So, all of this information is
Hopefully
super
not.
helpful. Well, yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying is like you get a bunch of people that just got their hardware and their software during Christmas time, and either they're still practicing or whatever. But I promise you, and it's surprising enough that the IRL DJs that I talk to have it worse because they can't find actual paying gigs because of the bedroom DJs. Because the bedroom DJs are costing less, they're doing almost exactly the same thing that they're doing. But the bars and clubs will save money by hiring the bedroom DJs instead of the professional DJs. So they're just like, where do we go? And I'm just like, technology's over here, and we've been kind of hanging out. So I'm not saying that this is kind of the latest, greatest somethings, but I mean, you and I both, we're constantly performing in here all the time.
Yeah, funny enough is that I bought my DJ controller because of a Christmas sale. But yeah, VRChat is a great platform to start out DJing, I'd say. Especially for me, it's the whole reason I started DJing in general. But it's just the whole vibe in here is just like, I ran into one person so far, no, two people that were like, they only play when they get paid in VR. But other than that, like, this community is just like, people play here because they have a passion for DJing. They just wanna give people a great time. They wanna just they play because they want to. It's like something very special here in VRChat, I'd say.
As far as like getting paid to play too, like that's kind of an important stepping stone in the right direction to how you want to go as a career. Without diving too much into it, I've been working on making my own OG music, or my own original music, I guess you could say. But I'm treading lightly because I don't want to just go out and be like, oh, here's a teaser, here's a sample, I'm working on this, because I feel like the internet in modern days will challenge that and say, hey, you used this sample, you can't produce it without copyright. Or if you put an idea on the internet, someone's bound to steal it. Or what if you work with a vocalist and you need to get them paid legally without them suing you or something? Like there's all sorts of errors, right? There's all sorts of ways of messing it up. And I feel like some of the DJs in VR, they're not ready to step on those eggshells to get an idea if like they're good enough for money or even wanting to be paid to play. I feel like we're still working that out, but at the same time, those are the conversations that people either don't have the time for, or they just continue to enjoy performing, you know, as a hobby kind of a thing. Speaking of performing as a hobby, dude, you're all over the place. I promise you. I've been looking at the timeline. You're performing at all sorts of different hours, at all sorts. I mean, if correct me if I'm wrong, you are Germany based. So,
Exactly, yes.
so finding the times to not only, you know, give good DJing to the people from Europe and the UK and stuff, and then you also have to stay up later for the people of the East Coast on the America side, and then maybe on the West Coast. But I do see you performing on like weekends early in the mornings. How do you identify when you should be performing, and how often do you think you should be performing?
So I mean, it's not that crazy when it comes to the times. There was like really only one time where it was like 7 in the morning for me DJing. It was like one of my biggest things I played in VR. That was like this furry event thing. It was Horizons by Beryllium. And it was like 2 days of like DJs and stuff like this, and I couldn't sleep, and I wanted to, and yeah, then it was like 4 in the morning, and I was playing Football Manager. I was like, oh help! But I had to stay up longer until 7 in the morning just to play. I mean, just to play a 25-minute set because I wasn't one of the headliner DJs. But it was still fun. But it was at the point where I still was saying, oh, okay, I don't think I want to play at like 7 in the morning again. But I'm currently still in the kind of comfortable position of being unemployed, see it as a good or a bad thing. So I can say, okay, I'm gonna DJ at like 1 in the morning my time, 2 in the morning my time. All after that, I try to avoid because it gets like really late. So I try to stay in the more comfortable before midnight European times.
I mean, yeah, you even before like this week when we were meeting up, or a couple of weeks back, you were talking about how your sleep schedule's a little borked, and you know, I would say that most VR chat people there like that too, because even though we do have clocks here that kind of tell us what the time is, yeah, we proactively, you know, the lights don't turn off here, so you know, you can have it literally almost every time coming in here. But are you finding that you're losing sleep because of the DJing, or is that just kind of like a personal thing of you being way too busy all the time?
That's really just a personal problem. It's just okay. You should go to bed, and then it's like if I'm not really feeling tired, and then you're in the fishing world till like 6 in the morning. This damn fishing world, I swear.
I can't say that I've been there yet, but now I feel like with everybody going there, it's like all these things are literally happening, especially there. But you know, speaking about like again time zones and performing in Germany, one of the things that we got to do is we got to meet up IRL. Um, to a lesser extent, I was a little drunk, but at the same time, we still hung out. I was like, "Oh, you're the guy," and you're like, "You're the guy," and I'm like, "Oh man, we're hanging out." But we were hanging out at Four Seasons, and one of the most magical things that I can ever come up with outside of maybe whatever Shelter does, because they have video footage of it too, is just that. It's just Four Seasons as a community, as an event. They really know how to kind of pull together all the different countries and all the people from VRChat into an IRL space where we hang out, we like talk and go do fun things, but then we also go and perform and you know, get to display all the things that we do. I mean, for me, they gave me the weird Uncle Sam hat to wear, and I was like, okay, well, that's kind of weird for an American to wear, but I suppose. But like, so out of your time of DJing in here and getting to know the Four Seasons crew and also integrating with a lot of international people, like how does that reflect on you and what your hopes and dreams are for DJing, you know, in the future?
Yeah. I mean, for Seasons, I was a little bit of a surprise guest because only 2 people knew I was coming there because it was a very spontaneous idea to go there. And I got told by like a few people. Oh, yeah, I remember you. You were the guy that was dancing absolutely crazy the whole fucking time. So yeah, like Four Seasons it was amazing. I don't want to talk bad about the fishbowl thing, but I have to say that Four Seasons thing was a little bit better than the fishbowl event that they were hosting. But but when it comes to my hopes and like oh, tracking. Hello. When it comes to like where I see myself with DJing or in yeah yeah I have to be honest. I really, for at least currently, don't really see myself DJing for like IRL things. I mean, okay, I maybe applied for this year's Four Seasons just because Kex kind of really wants me to. Um, but other than that, it's like I don't know. I'm probably a little bit anxious about like playing IRL and stuff like this. I don't have like any background in DJing before I even started at all. And I don't have any practice on like any other controller that isn't an FLX4. So I'm a little bit nervous if I get accepted for Four Seasons.
Well, more like because
for
like with Four Seasons, in my opinion, like it's like the first starting steps of you either A, learning how to perform in front of a crowd, entertaining by doing dancing or showcasing and movements and stuff in front of a crowd, you know, interacting with said people that are in front of you. Again, going from a Flex 4 to CDJ 3000s, you know, it's kind of like you got this massive unit going. I don't know anything here.
it's like going from a Smart to like a Maybach or
Yeah.
something.
I mean, but it's fun because once you do learn it, you go, okay, this makes a little bit of sense. But now you're just dealing with it. You know, instead of driving a truck, you're driving a monster truck, and you're like, okay, well, this is fun. But again, 4C, the way that they do it is just like it's a great introduction to getting you into a club environment, feeling the energies, keeping you focused and distracted at the same time because you have all these lights and you've got all the energy. Plus, you're the one doing the thing. Obviously, again, like we said, if you mess up, they know it, and you're like, oh shoot, I guess they know it, and I know it, and we're here. But I think where I'm trying to go with this is like, you know, one of the popular ideas in VR is eventually from hobbyist going to professional, you could be making money. Is that something that you see yourself doing in the future? I mean, I would say your skill set, you got to give yourself a little bit of credit. Up on YouTube, you have tons of videos. And I feel like every performance that you do features a whole nother genre, and your energies and your passions of wanting to perform all these genres ultimately will make sure that your skills can pay the bills. So where do you kind of see that? Do you see yourself potentially following down the rabbit hole a little bit as far as maybe trying to find ways to get paid?
I mean, eventually, maybe, but you said, like right now, it's a bit. I still have to learn, like, still have to improve my skill sets more. I mean, I'm just doing this now. Oops, a little bit over a year, and it's still when it comes, my biggest weakness is set preparation. I'm just like, okay, I want to prepare this set. Okay, I have like 5 songs, and then say, okay, it should be enough, and the rest is I just raw dog the rest. And I noticed this when I played my birthday set not too long ago. Like, I really prepared that set, and it has to be one of my best sets that I've played. Not has to be one of the best. It has to be my best set that I've played. And I think this was the point now where I kind of spoiled myself to actually kick myself in the butt to prepare my sets more, because I know I noticed what I can do, but I'm not using the full potential I may have, but just because I'm lazy and not prepare my sets enough.
But I mean, do you think that's, I mean, obviously that's kind of important, especially when you're in here. I feel like everybody wants a perfect set. Everybody wants to be able to perform like an hour and be like, well, that was great. How do you top that? And then you start feeling the beads of sweat coming down, being like, I don't know if I can do that. You know, I can sit there and I can try to figure it out. But I think what you're trying to do, I think a lot of people should begin to try to do, and that's, you know, start with 5 or 6 songs and then feel the vibe from that, being like, okay, I'm going to make a transition into something else, or maybe they want something else. Speaking of that, again, your multi-genre, the way that you focus your energies, I've always known you as a housey kind of guy that do a lot of house stuff. Talk to us a little bit about your transitions between like wanting to do different genres. Is it a matter of like kind of bending to the will of the popularity, or is it just something that like you're fascinated that you want to kind of know a little bit of everything?
It's a pain to be a multi-genre DJ. It's like, okay, so hey, you wanna play for us? Oh yeah, sure. What do you guys want to have? Just really, what do you want to play? Ah, God, what am I gonna play?
The
Oh no, oh no,
struggles.
oh no. Am I? Okay, what time slot am I in? Okay, what time slot am I in? Okay, I'm like second DJ. It's okay, maybe a little bit more chill. But I played this genre like my last set was this genre. I should do something else. Nah, this is a bit too much.
Dude,
Oh,
everyone at home, listen to this. This is important because you got some dudes that start off, they're like the opening act and they go balls to the wall hard. And then the second DJ comes on playing like lo-fi and it makes 0 sense. And like you have to paint the mood. Continue.
um, but when I started, I remember one of the first times I was doing a practice session was like a week after I got my controller, and this was after one of Reality Thursday, after one of this things, and I tried playing some tech house, and yeah, it went how it went when you first try to DJ. So I really wanted to start with like, okay, I'm just gonna learn some house, maybe a little bit of techno, and at some point, it was just like, oh, let's just try this. Like, it kind of went like a little bit out of control. And at some point, I was like doing everything a little bit, not perfect at all. No, it's- you should when you start, you should focus on a genre first to like at least have like one genre you're very comfortable in before you start diving into like all of the other genres. It's like,
You know, without
yeah.
without kind of stepping too far into it quite yet, because we're going to talk a little bit about Dark Side a little bit later on. But like, it's kind of what I've been noticing about Dark Side is that it's a way to explore many different genres all in one night, depending on the mood of the DJ, and all that sort of thing. But obviously, that shouldn't be your starting point of learning how to do your multi-genre journey and venture. Was house kind of like the first thing? I know you were saying the tech house was kind of your first thing to dabble into. What's something that you enjoy playing far greater?
Ooh, I mean, I really like what I really like DJing as really these music genres where you can take your sweet time with the transitions, like house, like techno, where you can like blend the songs into each other like kind of flawlessly, and it's it's like more relaxing than when you play hardstyle and you have to like, okay, this is over now. Because it's very erratic. It's like something I have to get a hold of. I'm not a very good hardstyle DJ. Because the transitions are so fast there. You have to pay so much attention, and then the drop has to also not sound too off of what the last song was, which hardstyle is like it has a very big variety of how the drops sound. Um, but also a genre I really like DJing has to be neurofunk. And I have to say I'm a bit sick of main stage drum and bass, but neurofunk is actually something I like DJing as well because it's a bit easier to DJ as normal drum and bass, I'd say.
I was gonna say
Yeah,
that
it has to be
the
my.
audience members up here are talking about some of your metal sets.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah. also do that sometimes. I had a very fun set which was like metal step and metal, so dubstep with like metal elements, and then normal metal, which was which was very metal. No, it's very fun. Like metal is a very very nice genre, and I know people love metal, and I hear them also say it's like, yeah, there's not enough metal being played. I'd love to have that in this when like a club is presenting some metal, like Club Reality, for example. I know they do like those metal events, or there is Club Neon sometimes where Yako is like playing a lot of metal. But it's also, you know, you can't really do nice transitions in metal. It's most of the time it's like, okay, DJ Spotify. Not that it's a bad thing, but I don't think you can do it much better, or at least I don't have the skills.
I mean, unless you
for it.
have like some sort of effective feedback, so it sounds more like punky. I mean, metal's supposed to be brash anyway. It's supposed to be kind of like instantaneous. But where do you kind of see that? I mean, I know every couple of months or so we have some sort of a featured genre in here that tends to get a little bit more attention. I know towards the later part of like November, December, people have been feeding into disco. Disco is always still kind of making a comeback. But how are you seeing the metal scene? You know, we've had the gothic scene kind of, I don't want to say it's come and gone. I think that we're still seeing goth nights and we're hearing emo music. But what about metal? I mean, do you think that people are genuinely looking for like forbidden genres when be performing in here?
I have to say, yeah, there's like a few people that I know that aren't really that big of like how do I word it? I know people that are like they want to hear more metal. Like they're not big fans of like all the other genres. Like they will be there in the club because they you know, all of the friends are there. But I know they would go to like, oh, this guy's playing metal over there, that they would go there as well. So I I'd say, yeah, there is a demand for more of the not played so much music genres. That, yeah, it's always nice to hear when people do play it, like metal.
So I know a little bit earlier you were mentioning how if it wasn't for you coming into VR chat, then you wouldn't have become a DJ. Talk to us a little bit about that process of how. I mean, was it a peer pressure thing? I mean, you were kind of gifted a console, like you said, during the holidays. But how did that process kickstart into? Because again, like I was saying on YouTube, you got tons of different genres, tons of different playlists, tons of. I would think that you like doing the thing. But at the same time, like, was it a peer pressure thing? How did it get into it?
So I was never really a guy that liked to go clubbing at all, not even IRL. I was like, it was just not really my thing. And when so I started VRChat and like shortly before it got released on Steam. It's always like, I've been in this game for like so long, but I haven't played it at some point, not for like 3 years. So when I came back in mid 2021, that was like, you know, already COVID happening. I didn't even know that the whole clubbing scene was a thing in here. I only got to know it when I got into this one friend group where one of the guys would go to the fishbowl every Friday, and at first I was like, okay, it's a bit weird, and I think it was late 2022, or actually already late 2021 or something. I don't know. Where I started. Well, I was like, okay, you know, let's maybe check it out. So I got the first clubs I went to was Placeholder and Fishbowl, and I was like, okay, this is kind of fun. This is when I went down the rabbit hole to the point where at some point I would only go into the VRChat because I would go clubbing. And then because you meet more people that are in the clubbing scene, and there's like, oh, this guy is DJing, oh, this guy is DJing, and then one of my friends started DJing, and then another one started DJing, and then you listen to your own music that you listen to, and then there's like this one song or something that you like, and then you start to imagine you play like music, and you play this song as your set closer. Damn, that would go so hard. And I was thinking about it, and then I was like, was already doing like with with DaVinci Resolve, I was like cutting together like a techno set, which sounds absolutely horrible. And Jama was like, okay, I'm just gonna get a controller and try this out because it was on sale. And yeah, and a year later, I'm now sitting here and talking with you about how I became a VRChat DJ.
But it's all been really good for you, though. I would only assume because you're performing so often.
Oh yeah. Like the support I got in the beginning was like it was very amazing, and I have to say I'm very grateful to Club Neon as the first club that I am not part of that gave me a chance to show what I can do in an official event, which was about a month after I got my DJ controller. So it was very quick when
wow.
I got to play somewhere. Yeah. I had a 1 year DJ anniversary set there, funny enough. Well, it was kind of lining up. It was a bit early,
Oh,
but
cool.
well, I I played euphoric hardstyle. That was my genre that I said that I wanted to play, but I played like everything except euphoric hardstyle. And I had a little bit of a speech in there, and I was saying like just what I just told now, like, hey, I'm very grateful for you guys giving me this chance. And I was shaking so much because it didn't mean like a lot to me to just say thank you to the Club Neon people for giving me a chance, and yay.
You know, it's
Being here now.
again, it's so nice to be able to hear stories like that because we constantly think about in VR lots of the negative things. We're always harping on the negative things. Either you hear it on social media or you're going through it in here, and you're just constantly feeding into it that you keep forgetting about either the milestones that you've achieved or the things that you have done in here. Considering, or even the friendships that you've made or the networking that you've made in here and how you've been able to grow. And we tend to forget that because we're constantly looking for the latest, greatest something. Honestly, we just had somebody in chat being like, man, there's a lot of people at the fish map where they're fishing. And that can be true. You know, there's a lot of people that will be going there, but they will also unlock a core memory by doing that instead of them complaining that, oh, I don't like the fish map. I mean, maybe about like 6 months down the road, they're gonna be like,
World when?
yeah, they're gonna be like, man, fish map was cool, and then it'd be like, oh, well, that was kind of neat. But like the way you were explaining it was like, you have to give credit where credit's due, and even though some people either they get a taste of the limelight and they're just continuously bathing in it, that they keep forgetting about the people that started off their venture or their love for what they've done, is that you're able to do that. So being able to explain that, especially for new people that are coming in here to learn the craft of it all, they need to realize that too, is that, one of these days, as we've already exclaimed a million, billion, trillion times, everybody wants to play Shelter. That's like that is like the guaranteed place to perform, right? And it's a bucket list item. They'll keep working their way to get there, but they also have to remind themselves and everybody the path that they took to get there. And sometimes you don't get there. If you don't get there, be grateful with the things that you have and the things that you're working on. That's the honest truth. Speaking of which, answer this any way that you choose. But what are your thoughts on the latest group of people that are coming in here to DJ? I feel like you've seen your share of new DJs come in here and test the waters, and maybe they're trying to DJ a specific way nowadays, or Again, we have more than enough people in here that complain about beginner DJs because they're beginner DJs, but everyone's got to start somewhere, like you were saying. Since you've had a little bit of time in here to kind of perform and you've gotten a skill set, are you aggravated by some new beginner DJs, or can you get over the idea that everybody's got to start somewhere?
So first off, I want to quickly say I've been to Shelter like twice or something, and I have to say I only did it, and I only joined there because a friend of mine was there that I wanted to bother. Yeah, the Shelter is one of the things I'm not really interested in, I'd say. Yeah, it's a bit of a hot take, maybe. I'm not really interested in Shelter.
Is
I
it
don't
because
know.
it's a popular thing? Is it because you can't talk in it, or what do you think?
Not really. I've just not. Okay, maybe it's just not really been on my radar that much. I mean, I've heard of Shelter, and I know it's a big thing, but I don't say yeah, guess. Just guess it's just because it's not really on my radar of clubs that I want to go to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's fine to say that too, because again, I feel like a lot of people will jump the gun with that. A prime example of this, if you're not aware, I'm sure some people are aware, but not so aware. Down in Miami, the latest greatest club is called Club Space, and it's this massive like three floor club that is so difficult to get on the guest list to. They have like boiler room sets and they have like popular celebrity DJs that come in there, but they're also asking $300 for you to just get in the door. Like that, they have a $300 cover depending on who's performing. And most of the time, people that go to Club Space, they're just like, "What's the hype?" Outside of I can't get in, or I'm not beautiful enough to get in, or maybe the DJs aren't hitting it that night or something. I heard that they've got some delicious food, but that's all I know. Despite of being a popular thing or a music genre thing or whatever. So I mean, it's perfectly valid for you to say that. Some people might have different opinions based on that too, and that's perfectly okay as well.
I actually think that I haven't been a lot to like a few of like the big clubs or something that people would say, "Oh yeah, you have to go there." But probably just how I got into the whole DJ scene and stuff like this. Like I said, I fishbowl, then placeholder, and then I was just more in all the furry clubs and not really all the normie clubs. But to get back to the beginner DJ thing, I mean, yeah, everybody has to start somewhere DJing. So especially because I'm still kind of a new DJ. This is what I use Floofs and Frequencies for example. Is I want to use this as something where like new DJs can basically use a small audience or something that isn't a big event or club to learn how to play in front of a crowd, like how Four Seasons would be for me and stuff like this. And for example, Artist over there is one of the people that I gave a chance to play there, and I mean, it took a few tries until you actually got the time to play, but yeah, it was a very nice set, and one of my other friends I kept bothering. So you next week in my Floofs and Frequencies lineup. So it's a little bit of jokingly bothering my friends that start DJing as well to like, hey, yo, you want to play? You want to play? I know there's like 2 other people that start out DJing that I will for sure bother as well to play at Floofs and Frequencies. And yeah, I mean, it's something cool to see, when you can say, hey, this guy, I gave this guy his first official lineup spot, and look at how far how far he managed to come as a DJ. It's like, as clubs should give beginner DJs more chances, because how could they? How will they get experience in DJing in bigger clubs if nobody gives them a chance?
Let's break that down a little bit more too, because I know certain clubs offer specific, incentives when it comes to advice or motivation or mentorship or anything like that. And when it comes to this style of introducing DJing, kind of like DJing 101, what kind of conversations do you guys have? Is it just a matter of we're going to put you on a lineup and then we're going to sit and listen and kind of like it's not one of those we listen and we don't judge, but like not necessarily in like that order, but in a sense of like, do you give feedback afterwards? Do they want feedback afterwards? Are you guys just kind of looking to have a performance and then just see what they're going to do next, kind of a thing?
I try to, like, when I at least notice something that was a bit wonky and stuff like this, I try to, like, it's like, oh hey, yeah, this sounded a little bit weird and stuff like this. Like, for example, one of my friends who had a set at somewhere else, which wasn't like one of my things, but he played a song where I was like, it sounds a little bit like AI. And then after his set, I was just asking, hey, is this song like AI generated or something? And he was like, oh no, I paid like a guy on Fiverr like $300 to make it. And well, then he checked, and it turned out this guy's account was just gone and stuff like this. So he was a bit devastated about it, but luckily he got his money back and stuff like this. But yeah, I think feedback's always good, especially to new DJs. I Like I said, I try to, but I should probably do it more often now that it's mentioned here, actually.
Well, the reason I bring it up too is because, again, we have a lot of new people that are constantly watching our program and getting a better basis understanding of where they should be starting. Should they be going on the timeline? Should they search? Should they go on Google and search popular VRChat clubs or popular VRChat? Because they do that from time to time too, which is a miraculous thing. You would think that you would come into VRChat first and then, maybe go on Twitch and see what people are doing up on Twitch. But especially for the newer DJs too, I feel like there are select groups and communities that do want to have open deck nights, and you can come on and perform and showcase what you do. But at the same time, like, growth happens when you make mistakes, and then when you talk about it to hopefully, give you a better skill set later on down the road. Especially for Floofs and Frequencies. Now, obviously, Floofs being in the name, there seems to be a lot of like fur-related stuff, but it doesn't have to be 100% fur. Is that correct?
Yeah, correctly. It is. I started kind of this because I'm a furry, and and I know there's like a few of my friends that I knew wanted to play as already when I brought up the idea. Like, for example, Kex is like kind of in the shadows helping me out with a bunch of stuff when I have like questions about, how should I do that and this. Like, he's always helping out. But it's not necessarily that you have to be a furry to play there. It's just like, I'd maybe say that it always sounds a bit weird to say, like, the normies. But like everyone who isn't a furry, that's like maybe is a little bit overwhelmed or something. Maybe say when it's just like, oh, it's just like a furry club and stuff like this. Okay, it's maybe the same for like furries that play at like normie clubs or something. So, there's a bunch of non-furry people here. Nah, maybe a little bit anxious or something. But it's open for everyone to play, and yeah, just bring your music, and yeah, we get you a slot. So I've heard you want to play next week for Floofs and Frequencies, Rob.
Actually, I'm going to be in Miami Beach for a winter music conference, so I'm
Damn
I'm going to be busy. I'm going to be on the beach and just kind of doing the thing. But it's important to understand that too, because again, like it's interesting how you said it like that without it being too derogatory. But like, you know, I feel like there are some people that lean into the furs and go, "Oh my God, they're furs," and then you have a bunch of the furs that are looking at the regular people. They're like, "Oh, those are normies." So like, there's that going on. But then there's also a bunch of people outside of VRChat that I talk to that it's like IRL DJs, and as soon as I bring up VRChat, they go, "You perform for the furries," and I'm going, I mean, sure, I guess, but not everybody's a furry. So it makes sense because the people that want to come in here and they're just like, I'll never be, and then they become a furry, and it's like poof, furry.
It's inevitable.
It's bound to happen. You know, at some point in time, you become rah rah, and you do rah rah, and you go, maybe this should be what I need to do. But here's the fun thing, right? Is just like when you say you have people that aren't furs that come to floofs and frequencies. Maybe they do have to perform in front of a whole gaggle of furries. Like, when's the last time as a non-furry do you have an opportunity to perform in front of a whole group of furries and then also get feedback on that? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I have to say, there's like a lot of like furries. I mean, we all know that furries run like a lot of stuff in VRChat and IRL as well. You know, like the whole IT would break down if the furries wouldn't be there, apparently. But yeah, I know furries can be a little bit scary, or like, you know, when it's just like, I mean, it's VRChat. There's like, yeah, always the thing that's like, oh, the furries, they're like always so horny, you know what I mean? So I can understand some people being a little bit, these people are a bit weird, but well, we all just want to have a great time in here, you know.
Can't confirm, can't deny.
You know, we all just want to run, listen to music, have an amazing night, and yeah, wanna, wanna you know, turn a little bit away from the stressful week we had on weekends.
Yeah, no doubt. It's VRCDJLIVE, and we're sitting here with CopperTFox and kind of breaking down all sorts of different things. And one of the things I think a lot of people haven't been able to break down yet is, how did you even stumble across VRChat to begin with? I mean, we've already talked about how you got into DJing because of VRChat, but where did that kind of stem? Did you just kind of, were you playing video games one day, or did you learn about it on the internet? How'd that kind of happen?
It was because of my one of my friends that was like, oh yeah, there's this game, it's very funny. So it was like, oh, okay, sure, I'm gonna check it out. Okay, that is indeed kind of funny. Oh, there's like cool people there, and then it got a little bit out of hand. That my IRL friends got mad at me because I was playing so much VRChat on desktop. But there was a point then where I took like a 3-year break from this game. But well,
so what was the?
I have.
What were some of the funny things that you got to do, like when you got in here?
Oh, what was there? So the old furry hangout spot was the High-Ended Emporium back then, and that was you didn't have to care about like quest users back then, and I think it was like a simpler time back then. It's like when people say, "Oh, back in the days," you know, when things would be simpler. But of course, back then was like the time where Jameski was like a lot around in VRChat, and it was just like randomly like a shit ton of people, and was like, it's the YouTube guy, and then you were there when the Knuckles were around, and it's like. You would join on your friends at some point, and they sit in front of a mirror, everyone with the Knuckles avatar, and you would be like, oh, damn it.
You know, we could bring that back.
No, please don't. No,
like a Knuckles club night or something, yeah.
No, please don't show me the way. I do not want to know the way. Please don't.
But then you said you also took some time away because obviously it was around COVID time, or was it because of the DJing that it was because of COVID that you decided to go into DJing?
I think, like I mentioned before, it was I returned to VRChat because I got myself a VR headset, not necessarily because of VRChat, but because I wanted to play Beat Saber. And that was when, again, that was in the middle of the year. I got myself a Quest 2. Really wanted to play Beat Saber. So I did Beat Saber. And then I saw in the store VRChat was like, you could check it out. And then everything went downhill. And then I just, then got into the whole clubbing scene because I met people from that went there all the time.
So even before Beat Saber, what kind of video games were you actively playing? I feel like a lot of people are interested in to see what you were playing before VR.
So before VRChat, my most played game was GTA 5. I played a lot of that. Rocket League. I quickly have to actually bring up my Steam library real quick.
I mean, I want to know too, because again, like I feel like once you get into VR, like that's just it, is that we're just constantly in here. I mean, again, we keep bringing up Fish Game, but Fish Game is forever, apparently, for a lot of different people. So,
so most of the games I was playing were like, it's still to this day, it's like I'm a big racing game fan. So, I mean, Rocket League, Counter-Strike, but I'm absolute shit at shooter FPS PvP shooters, at least. Gary's mod. I mean, I already like sandbox games. So I mean, VRChat is basically a big sandbox game. Yeah, War Thunder. Oh god, don't get me started on that. Just a bunch of other games, like all across different genres, like shooter, survival, simulator. I love simulator games, like all kinds of simulator games. Let it be racing. I'm bad at flying planes, but we don't talk about flying planes. Euro Truck Simulator, or I'm a bit of a train sim fan. Going straight, amazing, high intense gameplay.
I mean, it could be worse. Like you could have like DJ Simulator too. Like, I mean, there is Tribe XR, which we're still trying to break down. But, I mean, I think the real questions we should be having for our guests on this program is like, what games have you played that you wish you were still playing now, but you're not because you're DJing so much?
Okay, one of my favorite one of my favorite VRChat games is Slashco. Goes out to the Slashco boys. But yeah, probably. What game would I play more? I have to play more more GTA again, because I wanna 100% all the online stuff, which is an annoying grind. But yeah, also Minecraft. Minecraft's one of those games that you like. It's like sleeping, you have to, you need to sleep, right? And then at some point you don't want to sleep anymore, and then you get older and you're like, I just want to sleep. It's like the same with Minecraft. Minecraft was one of the games I liked playing. Then it was like, Minecraft is cringe, and now it's like, that's a good game. But yeah, and then it's just I spent too much time in VR. I should go outside and touch some grass.
That's fair. Are you seeing some grass at least with the snow kind of melting? I would assume the snow's all gone.
Oh, yeah, the snow is already gone. I've been like doing a little bit of outside stuff. Like I was mowing the lawn the other day.
You made it sound like there was a joke at the end of that. You're like,
yeah, no, it was not. It was just snow is gone, and it's typical German. Snow is gone. Time to mow the lawn.
It's a cool little phrase there. It is obviously springtime's coming up, but it's VRCDJ Live, and we got some new people in chat coming in. Welcome on in, and we're hanging out with CopperTFox and answering all of your questions about learning how to DJ and understanding what it's like to be a VR DJ. And one of the coolest things that I love to ask our guests is, why CopperTFox?
Why CopperTFox? How I came up with the name.
Yeah.
It was basically I came from another fandom that I kind of left behind me, and then it was like, okay, the furries are cool. I mean, I know the furries exist since I got my first PC in 2014. That's the furthest, at least, I can track down any furry pictures. And so when I left this other fandom behind, it was like, okay, I like foxes, and so yeah, I know you can't really tell, but my actual persona, because we furries, is a red fox, and red foxes are like copper colors, so copper, and then the T is for. The T, for everyone who doesn't know, the T in CopperTFox stands for tail, because my sona's name is Coppertail. Lord drop.
I feel like we have to know, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, it's basically just I shortened my name at some point, because when I first had my username, it was Coppertail the Fox, but it was just too fucking long. So at some point I changed it. I was like, I need to rebrand. CopperTFox. That sounds cool. So I'm now the CopperTFox guy. That's not really a fox. They're just like a fluffy dragon right now.
But we could have a fox later on, I would only suppose.
You could have a fox, yeah.
Yeah. So again, it's a live program, and we've got a live audience here too, just hanging out and asking the questions in chat, which is, we love to have that here on the program, and we're starting to get a lot more of that, especially. And if you can't join us in the audience, you definitely can join us here in chat. Of course, we're answering all of your questions here, even if they are regular food based, like what's your favorite style macaroni, or like what do you I feel like we need to know now. Not the macaroni question, but just like what are you constantly eating? I guess that would be a good question to start with.
Okay, so what I constantly eat is too much sandwiches and lots of spaghetti.
There you go. So you already answered our macaroni question, so you got your tons of spaghetti in there. We would never know. We would never know this information if you were DJing. That's the thing.
But you can, if you want your DJ, you can always get me with the doner kebab.
Just hit you up with a sandwich. Hey, can you perform for 2 or 3 hours? Here's a sandwich. Okay.
Maybe not a sandwich, but I take a doner. Like I said, kebab. I love kebabs.
See, there you go. And now we know. It's part of your lore now. We actually have a chat in chat. We have a question in chat concerning, we do talk a lot about the DJs, but what about like world creation? I know you don't have too much of a say within the dark side, which we're going to get to momentarily, but what is your opinion on new world creators building new styles of DJ events? And I would assume that you've seen a lot of different maps featuring a lot of different things, but what would CopperTFox, what are your requirements for a good night of DJing in VR?
So, okay, I want to instantly address that I have the feeling a lot of club worlds in VR are just too big. They're just too big. It's just like you have people that are just like, and then they have secret hidden rooms and stuff like this. And it's just like nobody's on the damn dance floor. It's just empty all the time. Or the biggest flaw I have with the dark side map, with the dark side hangar map, is we have a balcony where we have our light controls on, and it's just as soon as like somebody from our team is standing up at the light controls, it's just like crowd of people. So what I like for club worlds is I like small club worlds. So you maybe have like a spawn room or something that's like fine, but then you go into the club, and the map I host Floofs and Frequencies on, it's is a that's why I like hosting Floofs and Frequencies. There is you basically it's like this half circle, this cake piece. It looks like a cake piece, you know. You have like a just like a rounded where the DJ deck is like round, and then it's like goes together like triangle wise, and and then you have just small spots to the side where you can like stand, but still you as a DJ see the people. There's like the small wall where the bar is, where you can go AFK and stuff like this. There's a pool table. This is all I need for a club world. It's like yeah, when you place your camera behind you as a DJ, you still see everyone in the club, and this is what I like small club worlds. It's just like I said, a lot of clubs I have a feeling are just way too big. The people are just scattered all over the place, and it's a bit annoying.
What about like multifunctionality, like you were saying? Like, I think a lot of clubs, like, I feel like you do need the definitive bar, even though you're not serving drinks at the bar, nor people are sitting at the bar, or even at the case like a pool table or beer pong, or I don't we don't flip cup yet, but that would be kind of a neat thing. But you know, do you think that the future of like DJing in here has to be kind of a main focus on the music, the visuals, the DJ, or like a social kind of environment like that?
So I have to say that I think the main focus of a club should be on the DJs itself, and it's basically like when you get served food, you know, you like the eye is eating as well. So when you have when you have good music, you know, it's nice. But if you have like also nice visuals as well, then it's even better. You know, the music feels even nicer, and then you're also there with like a cool group of people, and then you know this is like it's the chef's kiss. One of my favorite worlds, I have to say, right now, because it's like what I love. Like I'm a little bit of a sucker for strobe light, and one of the worlds currently that have absolutely amazing lights has to be What Remains from Lightning. It's like I don't know if you've been to Entropy before, but shout out to Entropy real quick. But the world that Lightning made there is like it's absolutely crazy. Like the lighting is amazing. It's I love this world.
So you think that a lot of people in the
PC only,
future will
sadly.
kind of be focusing in? I mean, we've talked to people like at Googie Records where they have all these different lighting visuals and screen effects, and even the guys over at Rave Factory and Contain. Like again, their overlay visuals and the different shadow effects they've got going on is really kind of giving you your dessert all of the time. So is that something like a template that we should be kind of focusing on in the future when it comes to the things that we've got going? I feel like hyper realism when it comes to doing clubs is also kind of important, especially for those people that want the full experience without actually going to a club IRL.
I gonna take a stand that one of my friends has about clubs in VRChat, and it is so he's an event technician, and he gets absolutely annoyed when it's like we are in VRChat. Why are so many clubs relying on real life lighting rigs? You know, you have like the truss systems and like you know normal moving heads and stuff like this, and he's like we are in VRChat, really. Like we can do things that we can do things in here that are not possible in IRL, like special lighting effects and I don't know what it but I have to say though, like I don't think it should be a standard that like every club has to use like lighting stuff that isn't something that wouldn't work IRL. It is nice, but it always comes down to like the whole environment itself, like what the vibe fits to, you know. So like an underground bunker, then it wouldn't really fit to have like nice and funny.
Yeah.
lighting.
I feel like we do toss this idea around a lot, especially with like the perfect venue, and it never really seems to be a perfect venue. What I think is that we have lots of everything for a specific taste. Not to completely dox myself a little bit, but in the area that I'm living in currently, they're literally building every style of restaurant that you could potentially go and visit. You want Italian, you got a place. You want a steakhouse, they got a place. You want Mexican, you want this, you want that. Everything's surrounded. We just got a pizza place, so it's just like, okay, we got pizza here. There's like 3 other pizza places down the street, and they serve pizza, but it's a different style of pizza. And I think that a lot of people like the idea of variety when it comes to an idea of what they're trying to accomplish. And just like you were saying, that like we shouldn't really have to be focusing on hyper realism in here. But I mean, if you were to spice up the variety a little bit with those people that can't go to a club because of a disability or their handicap, or they can't leave their room or something, or it's too far, let's just say somebody builds club space in Miami in here and makes it this really huge thing. You're saving yourself $300, like you don't have to wait in line with $300 to get into this thing when you genuinely can do that. And a funny story enough is that with the popularity of portal events and cross promotion, like Magic Mirror stuff, I feel like we have the technology that we're starting to aid into a further successful point with that in the future as well. We do have a comment in the chat about gaining tips, paying people, paying the DJ, having the DJ stay a little bit longer and stuff like that. Those ideas are continuously growing idea. It's a growing topic because at the same time we always toss it back and forth on a skill set and putting a price on skills. Even the people that are in here that make avatars or world creators, I feel like they will have a moment in time where their skills are more advanced, which would require a little bit more finesse with time and money. But as we've come to know on social media, it's a little tough when you have some DJs on social media with a huge clout game and thinking that they need to get paid to do a specific thing. Even I know, and I think a lot of people don't recognize this as well, is like in radio, charity is a thing. The 20% of your programming on radio has to go to charity. It has to. That is a given fact. So regardless if you think that you're too good for something, you could set it up for charity. You could look at it as a tip thing. But as we've kind of also brought up a little while ago, is that you do have some people in here that do want to push the limit a little bit about where they want to succeed as a profession rather than as a hobby. We talk about that with world creation as well. Because again, you could have something hyper realistic, or you could be in outer space. You could be in a field. You could be on a cloud. You could be almost anywhere depending on what the environment of the music that you're going to be performing. And it's neat that we can flex our creativity like that. But I think a lot of people, when they are building worlds, is they're constantly thinking about how cool can it be? Will it gain and garner attention in the future that will get us further viewership with the outside crowd of VRChat, the people that are outside of VRChat looking to come in? And then on top of it too, this is the reason why we have the program, is we bridge the gap. We have a lot of people that are IRL that right now they're fighting AI, because we all are, but they're fighting it because they're not understanding it totally. I feel like you can use AI as a tool, not an end result. Same thing in here is like you can simulate a club in here, and you can use that as a quick escape or a better way than going to an actual club and spending money, which would be cheaper. We're trying to save some money here. But it won't give you the 100% satisfaction and experience as going to a regular club. So it's kind of the reason why we're kind of diving into this conversation outside of answering the question in chat. I know it's a little complicated just because we're always talking about this. This isn't just we're talking about it right now, but I feel like new world creators nowadays are kind of implementing that idea. moving forward to Darkside a little bit as your co-owner of Darkside, you guys had an idea of how you wanted it to be built, and I also want to redig up the idea of different genres while also the party social environment that it gives. So let's start with the idea of what Darkside is, how did it start, and how did you get involved with it?
So Darkside really started. I mean, the idea was there, but the initial thing that okay, we're gonna go for this theme because for like again for legal reasons we are space themed, which was because of again one of our friends' avatars, which was a stormtrooper. It's just like yeah, we are in space, which is we also have this nice 10 minutes into a DJ set, we have those sliding doors that open, and then you have like this view into space, and then 10 minutes before the end, they close again. And yeah, I mean, I got involved because it were my friends that I went clubbing with all the time. And yeah, this is just how it all became a thing. And then, yeah, we are here now.
So was there supposed to be like spacey music to begin with? Was it supposed to be like, that certain franchise style of partying to begin with, or how did it shift?
Oh no, there was never really a set music vibe we wanted to have. I know when you hear Dark Side, it rings like, oh, it's gonna be like those darker, maybe heavier music genres. But it's really just basically play whatever you want, or we do have like themed events from time to time, but they've gotten sadly a little bit less over time. Not that I want to say like that. It's always a thing like set genre events are always like, okay, you can listen to set genre for like some time, but like over we have 6 DJs at the dark side, but it can get very repetitive when you have like, I take the example for drum and bass because that I think is a little bit of an overplayed music genre right now in VRChat, at least main stage drum and bass. It's like it can get very repetitive. So yeah, it's basically just play whatever you want, have some fun, see where the vibe goes.
And that's always a very good idea too. I know when we were leading on at the beginning of the show about multi-genre and how you're trying to figure out what kind of a genre you're hoping to play in the future, but at the same time, giving you that experience just like in Floofs and Frequencies to be able to get up on a stage, try it. I think a lot of people, especially with the popularity of drum and bass in here, they want to at least try to do something with drum and bass to see what kind of feels that they get from the audience, if that's going to be their bread and butter or moving on. And when it comes to Dark Side, where do you see? I would assume that the community of Dark Side is apparent. That a lot of people love to communicate with each other. They love to go to those types of events. They like to socialize. I feel like every time that I go to a Dark Side event, it's partially full. Like it's just like always like at least 50 or 60 people out there at any given time. So obviously
there's lots of Germans as well.
I mean, listen, that's not that's already a known fact that Germans love to party. But like, but that's the thing is like I've always known that Dark Side always features a wide range of different genres and stuff like that. How does that get curated? How does that lineup get curated? And how do you look out for new DJs? Do people slide into your DMs? Do people enter into your community? Is it again peer pressure like we've been kind of seeing lately?
How we pick our DJs is really just okay. For our next event, what do we want for our next event? Like, we also wanna like mix up. We don't each like We always want to have like different genres each event, and not like, okay, we have like, okay, it's now like the 10th time we have hardstyle now, or the it's again drum and bass. I have a feeling I'm hating on drum and bass so much. Like, drum and bass is a nice music genre. It gets people moving. That's why it's getting played so much. But for personal taste, a little bit too much. But yeah, it's really either people text us then in DMs that like, hey, I know you part of Dark Side, you have a little bit more say there. Hey, I'd love to play. Could we maybe are you like organizing this, or who can I talk to? And then it's really just because everyone is like always somewhere clubbing. It's like, oh hey, this guy's cool. We should maybe get him for a Dark Side at some point. So sweet. And then we have a, of course, we have a spreadsheet that I made because I like spreadsheets. That's basically our DJ tracker, where it basically tracks, okay, so this DJ played this many times at the Dark Side, and they last time they played was like there. So we also try to see if people who haven't played like for the Dark Side for a while, that we like text these people, hey, you want to play for us? So we try to always have like, yeah, always keep it basically a fresh lineup and not basically repeat the same DJs over and over again.
That's a very good concept too. I didn't think too much about putting together a spreadsheet, but that makes a lot of sense. I mean, you might have a lot of resident DJs that come in from time to time to perform a lot. And while that's great, and if you have a crowd of people that enjoy that sort of thing, then sure, you know, why, if it's not broken, why fix it? Kind of getting back into the drum and bass thing, I heard from Protostar told me, he goes, drum and bass is literally 128 BPM, just double the speed. And I'm like, oh, like, okay. But it does seem like a lot of people want to get it. It's a bouncy type of music. I feel like a lot of people enjoy it. And we also have a comment in chat thinking that a lot of drum and bass played in VRChat is the same as SoundCloud drum and bass. Now, man, what a topic. What is something to kind of bring this up, because of the fact that like everybody has their version of understanding where they're getting their music from. And I could totally understand it, that like a lot of people do go to SoundCloud for one of the latest, greatest something, or they'll find an indie artist or an underground artist or something that replicates a specific sound. Do you think that DJs are feeding into SoundCloud too much, or do you think that SoundCloud will potentially become the future of looking out for future new DJs, new producers?
I have to say, not too long ago, I started before I play somewhere, I always look on SoundCloud to maybe find like good songs. I mean, it is good, like especially for people that don't upload their music on like YouTube because of all the copyright claims and stuff like this. When they like make a remix of something, like you can find gems on SoundCloud, but I personally think it's very annoying to use as well, because it's just littered with AI music. And don't get me started on AI music. Okay, I'm guilty as well of that I've been, did create some AI songs, and I did upload them on YouTube, but on a separate YouTube channel with like that literally says, oh yeah, AI music and everything is tagged with AI. So I don't like people click on it. It's like, oh, cool, that's like real songs or something. I know it's like a little bit of a thing people may frown upon, but it's just more like, I created like funny songs about my friends and whatever. But for SoundCloud, I mean, like I say, it's a bit of it's nice to find music, but I think I have more troubles finding good music on SoundCloud because it's littered with AI music than if I would just go on YouTube or Spotify or something.
See, I'm really glad that you brought it up though, because like it's something that we rarely discuss because we don't know what to do with this. And it's not funny I'm not saying that it's funny that you're bringing this up, because we're entering into an age where you could generate almost anything on the internet through AI, whether it's a photo or a video or a concept or music in this case. And people do rely on AI to get better ideas. But like I've said, AI should never be the final product. It should just be good for ideas. And the reason why it's funny to me is because I would have never considered that. I would have considered, but only because of several things. I think if we make music, we want to take pride in the music that we make, that we could share on SoundCloud. That's a given. I feel like if you make an AI sound and you're proud of it, you could put it online, but also say that it's AI and you created it with AI. Take pride into that. Don't feed into it saying that I generated this, because later on down the road, someone's going to be like, oh, so when are you going to make a new thing? And you're like, well, the whole thing. People that don't take credit for that right now, obviously we need to be mad about. We have to argue about, because they are literally littering our space for further creativity and visibility when it comes to producers and stuff like that, because of those sounds. The reason why I'm saying it's funny is because the industry currently, and again, I want to make sure that everybody in chat hears this, because this is important. The IRL music industry is currently fighting about this, and they are discussing this at a conference that I'm going to next week, featuring Beatport. Like Beatport and a whole bunch of other CEOs are going to be down in Miami for these conference to debunk what they want to do in 2026 about AI culture and AI music.
I hate it on Beatport. I hate it so much.
Right.
Like I can maybe understand, it's kind of understand it that it's still on Spotify. Okay. But on Beatport, it shouldn't be on Beatport, especially because it's used by professional DJs. It's absolutely annoying to have AI music on there.
Now, also, too, without feeding into the annoyance, because it's bound to, Beatport has actually partnered up with BeatSource and Direct Music Service and a couple of other digital pools, because they want to go streaming service now. Like, you could still download your tunes that you purchased on Beatport, but they want it so that way you buy into a subscription service to stream it to either your software of choice or your CDJs. The industry states not every club has strong Wi-Fi, so or to be able to feed it into those CDJs and then be able to take your crates everywhere. But people aren't. They don't like that, and this is their opportunity to say, hey world, we're creating this concept. This is why you should be on board with this. The funny thing is that we don't have to be on board with it, and we can be vocal with the things that we dislike, because if there's enough of us, then they can change it for the better. But they are genuinely getting together to see how they can combat AI or use it to add potential victories in the future, which hopefully will be a sooner future than a year, with them saying, oh, well, now we're doing something with AI. And it's just, so that part of it can be really frustrating too, especially if you're looking to either produce or look for new music and kind of do a stylistic change on that. But feel prideful that we get to talk about it here on the program. We talk about it in VRChat. Super important. Same thing with the Twitch DMCA stuff. When the Twitch DJ program came out, nobody wanted to be a part of that, because now we're asking other countries to get involved with like the America's DMCA copyright stuff that doesn't really pertain to them, So it's good to talk about these things so we can find other ways of combating it, especially when it happens. Like when the whole streaming service thing happens, we're going to talk about it. We're not going to like it, but we're going to talk about it and see if we can make it a much happier scenario than the way that we're painting it. It's VRCDJLIVE. We're here with CopperTFox, and we're just kind of chewing at the bit as far as all the different DJ things that we've got going on, because man, oh man, someone's bound to ask somebody, especially even when you're a beginner DJ, like you start leaning into other people that do DJing stuff. And then as soon as you learn it, you're like, really? I got to do it like this? This is how it is? Like, and then you got to, same thing with the DJing thing. Is like, I tell a lot of my IRL DJs, they're just like, how are you DJing in VR? And I'm like, well, you have a toaster on your face, and then you have a crack in your nose that you look down at your console, and you have an overlay of what the stream is, and you got these things on your hands, so you got, it's kooky, but at the same time, like, that's kind of the best way to explain it. Before, I wanted to kind of dive in a little bit about burnout, because that's going to be a big topic coming up very, very, very soon. But kind of before we stray away from the dark side, does dark side have a specific genre? I know you said it's kind of multi-genre, and you're kind of, you want to involve everybody, but what do the regulars want to hear all the time?
I have a feeling, if I have to think about it, like genres that get played a lot or more often than others are probably hardstyle and a little bit more the harder genres like hardstyle and like hard techno, stuff like this, or like techno in general. But I think it's gotten less that like basically we are at the point where, basically the people join not necessarily for the music that's getting played or like for a specific DJ or something, but just, they just want to experience the whole event that's going on, also get like surprised what's getting played. But I'd say like hardstyle has to be one of the genres that is played more than others on the dark side.
But it's also good to know that besides, constantly hearing the hard style from that club, that you can offer many different genre stylings. And I want to make sure that everybody that is interested in learning to DJ in this scene, feel comfortable with the style of music that you perform and feel confident with it too. Like, don't think that you won't be able to play at dark side because you don't play hard style, or you may not get it. Like me, I don't really get hard style. I'll listen to it. I'll be like, oh, this is a bunch of noise. But, there's always a place for everybody. There's a community for everybody. And even with Floofs and Frequencies, I'm super excited that you brought that up, because, I want to see more of it. I want to see it up on the timeline. I want to come to those events. I want to see what they look like and how they feel like, because I feel like because of Floofs and Frequencies, to be fair, and if I was going to look into the future, I feel like it would be the next place that you would want to go that shares the same experience as what it used to be like to go to a public instance of like a Black Cat, where you can go and not be memey about it or racist or anything, but like go in and just You're not just gonna run in there. There's a bunch of memesters everywhere. No. I'm just saying, like, go there, listen to good music, but then proactively, guess what? Virtual chat with people. Like virtual reality chat with people, oh,
talking.
No, my gosh, you could actually chat with people about like raving and like having a good time. And guess what? They like to do the same things you do, and then you do as well. Like, I feel like that concept's a little foreign lately, huh?
I mean, yeah, there's also so there's lots of yapping always in club instances. I know from one of the, I don't know, I don't know which to whom you were talking to, but you mentioned as well that back then, like, the clubbing etiquette was like different, that like talking while in a club was a bit frowned upon. That's why shelter is like, you can barely hear people. But I mean, it's like, even though it's like, or it's more like a real, not like real life or something. But well, IRL, you would still talk to, like, your mates you go to the club with or something. So yeah, just, I mean, I think it's a big part of the clubbing scene as well. The social aspect. You meet like a lot of different people from, basically most of the different time zones. When they, you have the European time zone, and then, or like, you come online, it's like the Japanese or something that are partying, then it transitions into, Europe, everything in between there as well, you know. But then it transitions into the European clubbing scene, and then, you know, the Americans come online. So you talk to like a lot of different people, and you learn a lot of different things about how, for example, even the American clubbing scene works, which it's always hard, you know, which scene is better, the American or the European clubbing scene. Of course, I'm a bit because I'm more at European events, and it's like I like the Europeans more, but I'm not enough at like American events that I can judge that 100% perfectly. But yeah, it's socializing at parties has I'd say it's like, yeah, it's nothing to frown upon.
And the same thing goes with the whole talking thing too. Like, I think what makes Shelter so unique outside of the lower the volume capacity to be able to talk with anybody is it's supposed to be visually appealing. It's supposed to be kind of an escape from the virtual world in the virtual world, where the visuals and the underground aesthetic is kind of there. And I mean, every place has its own little piece and a little part of how all of this is supposed to go down. So, um, regardless if you want that aesthetic all the time, you know, that's totally your prerogative of how you want to handle it. But you know, again, we're at the stage in VR chat where everything's possible, and there's all sorts of different things that you could be a part of to learn a little bit more of, and that's what makes everything that we have in here so unique. So even when it comes to Dark Side, where you can interact with, I guess, more Germans, and have people coming in a party and get to know them a little bit more. Actually, I was speaking to one of my clients today at work, who I was mentioning over the fact that most Americans still can't get over World War II and Germany back then, and they don't realize what's good about Germany now and the people from Germany now. And that's upsetting because they're missing out, you know, like there's so many cool things happening in Europe and in that area anyway, that people need to kind of get over themselves and explore a little bit more and kind of talk to people and see what their hopes and dreams are moving forward. As far as, yeah, well, you know what? We'll talk a little bit about club etiquette too, because it's super important to understand, especially as a co-owner, and understanding new people that want to come and rave. I don't know if you've been noticing it. I don't know if it's just a spring break thing, but we do have had some new people come into the space to either learn about where to go party, or to be fair, I met up with someone who was brand new at Tube, who said, I want to go to more of these events. And I'm like, how did you even stumble across this to begin with? You know, like if you're here, like, how did you even get in here? And then we had to explain the timeline. But like, so what have you been kind of seeing as far as club etiquette's concerned currently? I mean, I would only assume that you've started to see some new people. How are they approaching this? Are they following the rules? Have they been doing things out of the ordinary that we have to kind of take awareness of?
I mean, when it comes to new people going clubbing, the big thing is always the avatar performance, of course. At Floofs and Frequencies, for example, I personally don't really care about avatar performance there, because I just want basically to have people a good time. Unless it's like someone that, and it's some guy with an avatar that plays like those obnoxious. Oh yeah, you loaded my avatar, have this cool 5-minute intro music, or obnoxious animations, particle effects, or something. That's like something where I'm like, hey, it's a bit annoying. Could you maybe change into something less, you know, that has like these visuals or something? Other than that, I'm like, okay, we have safety settings we can enable. So I know as a DJ, it's a bit annoying when you have to hide like very poor avatars so you can still stream and DJ and still have good performance, and don't want the club to be totally empty. Like, I totally get the avatar performance rule, but for Floofs and Frequencies, it's a bit more loose. But yeah, on the dark side, it's a bit different. We enforce poor better. So That's always something people are like a little bit moaning about when it comes to, but my avatar is like, it's only like these polygons and I don't know what. But it's always a bit of trouble, to explain to this guy if we would go into looking into avatar details to say, okay, you can stay very poor, you can't. It's a bit of a hassle to constantly explain to people, okay, this guy is allowed to be very poor because this and that, and you're not. So you just enforce it to just be poor or better.
I was gonna say, is there a better way that we could try to make this a little bit better? Is there a way that we can encourage people to continue to look for medium or better?
Yes, like I'm fortunate enough that I got before I started uploading my own avatars, I was already in the clubbing scene, so I know I have to optimize my avatars to use them where I want to use them. And the biggest problem people have that upload their own avatars is just they throw everything on this single avatar. They have 500 different outfits and they only use one. Just when you make an avatar, just like upload more avatars then. Just throw this outfit on this avatar and then you have a good rated, and then you have a nicely rated avatar without it being obnoxiously heavy, and you can still be yourself. There was one person that was complaining about to me like, oh yeah, but if I want to optimize my avatar, I cannot be myself. Yeah, BS, you can be yourself and be optimized. Just because you can't use your 5,000 outfits, it doesn't mean you're not yourself. So yeah, I always tell people, if you want to add new clothing, just upload a new avatar, really. And this is already a big thing to improve performance for avatars.
I'd like to think that at some point in time, I mean, we're all getting really crafty with it, whether it comes to avatar creation or world creation. I mean, again, we've had a lot of people in chat already asking a bunch about world creation, so it's really nice to be able to, continue to learn about this. And to be fair, you got a lot of DJs that are in here. They're starting to learn how to do the idea of DJing for like maybe 4 or 5 months, and then hopefully that'll spark the kind of ignite the flame of, oh, maybe I need a custom avatar. Oh, maybe I can get a cool outfit, and realize that if you just give it a couple of hours, then you also too could be a professional. What we do in here, outside of literally building everything, you can kind of mix and match everything that you've got going on in here. It does seem like it is a impossible feat to continue to have instances where you have to enforce those rules, but I feel like within club etiquette, you have to realize that that's something we have to do. I feel like that is an enforcement, and people can gripe and complain, but the warning's at the door, and also you got staff that have encouraged you to do that. And guess what? If you can't deal with a virtual reality scenario, good luck trying to walk into a club wearing ratty jeans and a t-shirt, thinking that you're the most important person there outside of whatever they're trying to kind of get you involved with that. But you know what? It's perfectly fine. I feel like most clubs need to start doing that more, and it's okay to do that. Enforce those rules a little bit, and let's get a little bit more clean with it. It's VRCDJLIVE, and we got a couple more minutes here with CopperTFox. So if you're just sitting there in chat being like, man, I really want to learn about DJing or a specific genre, or how you could become the world's greatest dancer, that is definitely the question. You're looking at me like, what? Oh, we're starting this conversation again. So before we kind of put a cap on this interview, I want to know, what are your thoughts about Darkside? Where do you see Darkside going in 2026? Is there going to be anything fun in the lineups for that?
So, of course, like I think a lot of clubs that are in VR, at some point you do think about like hosting something outside of VR, and we've been talking about it a lot. So maybe not in 2026, but maybe we do at some point something IRL related. We're still not very sure about it. We've talked, like I said, we talked about it a lot, but yeah, it's always a little bit of a maybe complicated thing to do, because if it's not picking up and stuff like this, and then you kind of wasted money and time for this. So, but yeah, I'm really looking forward for Dark Side. It's something that I maybe recently a little bit less than I used to was working with. Like I did a lot of social media, but I've just been a little bit stressed out with a bunch of things, so I do a little bit less than I used to. But yeah, I'm yeah still a surprise for us as well where this journey will take us with the Dark Side. Same with Floofs and Frequencies, which I have to say is probably on a good way. How it's going right now, still need to maybe ask like a few people if they want to help out, because I'm still running this mostly solo, and you know it with hosting your Yap sessions every day, every week, that it's it does get exhausting, and uh,
You're
yeah.
doing it for the love and the passion. That's kind of what you're doing it for. And you know what? If you do need to take a break, you take a break, and that's perfectly okay. We've learned that many times here in VR chat, so it's not even just a matter of that. When it comes to the template of understanding what it's like to go from VR to IRL, like as an event, do you think that it's a peer pressure thing for most clubs in here to do that? I mean, we talk about it almost every year, where it's like, we see all these other clubs. I mean, you could say Costa del Fishbowl, you could say Four Seasons, you could say Shelter. I know for my community, Dead Man's Parties are usually a big thing. We're going on year 5. Yay, after 5 years. But there always seems to be a calling for that, but it's difficult because there's such a high standard. There's such a high bar when it comes to understanding that. Do you think it would help most of the community members if we had a templated system, or a better successful way of understanding how to build stuff like this?
It probably does. It would be, but I mean, at this point, it's just, trial and error really to see if for like the club or event you're running, if it would be like, yeah, if it makes sense, I'd say, or something to host something IL. Like, you have the main reason really to host an IRL event is just you always have like the same people. You get like your community together, the people that are always there, and then it's like it would be cool to meet those people IRL at some point, and maybe a lot of those people maybe don't go to, like in our case, they don't go to like FurCons or something, and maybe they would go to like something smaller, and maybe you find like a location that's more suitable for the people that maybe can't make it to like a FurCon or something. So it takes like a lot of effort, planning, and yeah, a lot of time to figure that out.
I mean, it's good to be able to talk about it too, especially because there are a bunch of clubs that are interested in doing that. But here we are having another tier of like investigation of how we want to handle this, because it's so easy to just set up an event in here. It's free to do. You need free promotion. It doesn't take any money. It just takes time. But as you see the progress of how things are starting to get shapened up, and you're just like, wait, you get the bug. The DJs get a bug to try to be professional with it, but then you get club owners that are just like, what if I was meant to be a professional club owner? And, I think in my personal opinion that like it's great to be able to test those theories. It's expensive after a while, but I think it would be cheaper to lose a few $1,000s and say, well, we did it and it wasn't exactly the way I wanted it to be, as opposed to millions of dollars. It's like, oh, well, shoot, I just threw all this money out and I wish I had that money. But at least you have an experience. You've been able to do a show. You can live out your show and live out your fantasies of the show while understanding how it is day to day, just in case you are looking to kind of build a career out of it. Speaking of career, where are we going to see CopperTFox in 2026? Are we looking for more DJ performances? Are you looking to kind of step up, maybe do an IRL performance somewhere?
I mean, yeah, of course, I wanna, step up my DJ game now that I know with my birthday set I had that I can play better sets and sets that sound better to transition wise. Um, but also maybe, like I said, the thing that's gonna be a maybe if I play IL is gonna be Four Seasons. Um, but other than that, don't really know where I could play somewhere or get like some experience like that, like to at least try to DJ IRL. But yeah, I also think that one of the things that's kind of holding me back is I'm still rocking my trusty FLX4, and I have a feeling that sometimes I get held back because I only have 2 channels. Like sometimes I think 3, 4 would like, unlock more potential, but also more workload while DJing.
Yeah, I was gonna say that skill set's a whole nother level, especially when you have 4 decks. It does make it a little bit easy, but you also have to keep track of 4 decks instead of just 2. But the way I see it is, since you're thinking about it, you're ready for it. That's basically, if you're thinking about doing something, do it. You're already kind of there. I mean, you may not be a professional at 2 decks right away, but you're going to be taking the steps in the right direction. Good sound moving forward. Again, VRCDJLIVE, we're just ending up at the end of the interview, and just as normal as CopperTFox would already kind of know, is we like to hit our guests with a couple of rapid-fire questions to see what kind of good responses, because, again, we're busy throughout the work week. I just give you a template of some of the questions we hit throughout the 2 hours, but it's either the people that recognize what the questions are at the end of the show compared to something that I might just want to think up at the, just on the spot. Kind of keeps you on your toes a little bit. Out of everything that we've talked about on the show tonight, whether it's like co-ownership of clubs or learning how to DJ, or even beginners learning how to DJ in here, what's a good word of advice that you can offer to someone who is coming in here for the first time, looking to be a little bit more engaged in our community, or even wanting to step on stage and perform?
So I'd say that one of the most important things is probably gonna take the direction of people that want to start performing and stuff like this is again, biggest advice is really just make mistakes are part of your learning process, and transitions are really, and transitions don't really matter that much if the songs are absolute banger. And yeah, don't overdo it. Don't overdo yourself. Like I remember in my beginning time, I was like to play this day, play that day, play this day. It's like at some point you just very quickly are just like max workload.
I feel like a lot of people on social media have seen like how a song ends cold and then they just play Fiend right after that, and everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, it's Fiend!" And then they just kind of, so like you could do it like that too. I mean, you got to be really good with the timing, but like even that's still a transition outside of a regular like Spotify transition. Speaking of Spotify, what are some songs that you're listening to online, either on SoundCloud or Spotify? Which artists that you're listening to currently, and what are some frequent artists that you listen to mostly?
So okay, I like listening to Mr. Baby No Money. Um, but also I'm a big fan of I Prevail. So I listen to a lot of different music. There's like this German artist in there as well, who has this very nice voice that that it is like it has a very nice voice. uh, but other than that, it's like basically whatever I whatever random stuff pops up. I listen, yeah, mostly harder music genres I funny enough listen to, but also some classics in there sometimes as well.
It's very nice to be able to hear somebody that still listens to I Prevail. I mean, I come across them on social media from time to time and on Spotify too, and I'm just like, oh yeah. I mean, remember that song? Remember that song? It's always very good to be able to hit those hits. You know, sometimes on social media, we run into really ridiculous questions, and one of the ridiculous questions that we found is, who is the best DJ in the world?
Who is the best DJ in the world? I mean, a lot of people would say something like James Hype, apparently, because he's doing like lots of crazy stuff with like 6 decks or something. But I have to be honest, I don't listen to a lot of James Hype, so I have to say the GOAT for me will probably stay Skrillex. Or yeah, I really love the set he played last year at the Ultra. It's something I listen up and down to.
Does it kind of bother you that he doesn't look the way that he was from Scary Monsters and Sprites, and
Oh my,
he looks different
yeah,
now?
yes. For me, in my head, Skrillex will always be this guy with this shaved head on one side and then the long hair on the other side.
He kind of looks like he's from Brazil or Sao Paulo or something, you know, like some other way foreign land or something.
Yeah, but well, it's the same with Eminem. For a lot of people, Eminem is still, the Slim Shady guy.
Yeah, but I feel like
The
Eminem's
guy
whole
from
wardrobe is nothing but sweatpants and hoodies, right? Like
yeah,
clean
true,
white
but
kicks.
yeah, but he used, for a lot of people, it's like the guy from will the real Slim Shady please stand up? The young guy. And I mean, yeah, it's how his album from, what was it, 2 years ago, The Death of Slim Shady. It's not really Slim Shady anymore. Well, I love this album, Coup de Grâce.
I mean, he's all dad energy right now, so that's pretty okay. But
Yeah.
one of the popular questions that we have here on the program is, who are your top 3 VRChat DJs to listen to?
Top 3 VRChat DJs. I know I hate on drum and bass, but especially before he got his new DJ controller, Sigmund Floyd. God damn, what this guy was doing with the FLX4 is crazy. My guy plays on an FLX4, plays fucking drum and bass, and just starts scratching that shit as well. Like, Sigmund has to be like number one for sure when it comes to DJs. It's crazy what this guy is doing. And who else we have? Then, I mean, another guy I really like listening to, and there's not really bias to it, but just because of how much variety he has, has to be Mr. Skittle himself. I mean, Kex is always a joy to listen to Kex. It's really hard to pick. It's really hard to pick. Let me quickly maybe. I know this is a quick fire question, but how can I forget? Because just how quickly this guy went from starting to DJ to playing amazing tunes has to be Daxon. He's known as Mr. Donk now because he plays like a bunch of like hard bass and stuff like this, and it's always funny. He recorded, like, I don't know what he didn't record from his household items. Like, just one of the things he does is just, in the middle of a set he's making coffee. Basically, it's just his coffee machine noises. So it has to be Sigmund Floyd, Kex, and Dex, and my current top 3 DJs.
That's wonderful. I mean, they're all very, very passionate people with lots of energy in the things that they do for our community as well. Before we get you on out of here, where can we find CopperTFox on the internet?
So, hi, I'm Copper, and I can be found on Twitch. Usually, I try to at least, like, on Fridays when I do like some throwback Friday stuff, you know, some disco, new disco, funky house stuff like this. But when I play longer than 2 hours, it can also transition into some harder music genres. And of course, speaking of harder music genres, these I decide will be on Sundays. On, you know, you don't want the week to end, just have some hard music on Sundays. Twitch.tv/CopperTFox, or I think I'm, you know, just click the ad in the if you're watching the stream still. Other than that, I do have a lot of social media where it's literally just at CopperTFox. But I'm very bad with social media.
I'm sure we'll get you on board with that, especially because Instagram is starting to pop off a lot more, and I'm hoping more people will get on Instagram to be a little bit more of a safer space, especially for the people that DJ and do entertainment. But I mean, I think a lot of people are excited for your upcoming sets and being able to see you on Twitch, and you know, continue to kick butt here in our community, and we love to have you here on the program.
Well, again, thank you for having me. It was feel less nervous now. I mean, okay, it's like over, but yeah, it's not always. It's not every day that you're just on a podcast talking about stuff, and then you have to, because it's not your native language, like maybe you don't understand the question like the right way or something, or you yap about everything but what was asked.
Well, it's also super fun to be able to have someone come on here and we can continue to have these conversations about the DJ community in general. I think a lot of people have a lot of questions that they want answered, and that's kind of the reason why we have this program. So again, thank you for coming on, and thank you guys for coming to watch VRCDJ Live. Of course, we're here getting you all sorts of answers to topics of our community, and as well as answering your questions, and you know, hitting the really hard topics when we do get around to them. Here on the program, we do air our programs every Thursday. You just kind of have to figure out what time we're airing these programs. We have the availabilities for you up on our X and Blue Sky. We also have an update of our poster up on Instagram as well. You can find all of our links and more at Linktree at VRCDJ Live. Of course, with the replays and the highlights, all available for you up on YouTube at VRCDJ Live. And if you would like to be a guest on our program, whether you're a DJ, community member, or a VJ, or even someone that loves to rave like these guys back here, you know, we can have you on the program too. I know we should have brought them on here to talk a little bit about it too, but I mean, they're over there.
Yeah, no, the guy who is an absolute yapper isn't even here. He's still probably, where the fuck is he? Is he still online? Oh no. Okay, my trackers are a little bit empty.
So of course,
I mean, it is 2:40 in the morning.
True. You can find all of our form submissions up on the link tree as well, or down in the bio, where you could be able to let us know that you would like to be on our program and discuss even more. A little bit of housekeeping before we get on out of here. Of course, next week we have off. I'm off to Miami for the Winter Music Conference and Miami Music Week, where all the DJs kind of get together with the record labels and promoters and club owners and CEOs, and we discuss everything that we're talking about in the industry throughout the year. I'm going to be actually joined by DJ Gearbolt that week while we're down in Miami, schmoozing and networking with everybody. So we might have an IRL on remote in Miami next week, sometime on Thursday. Keep an eye out on social media on when that's going to happen, and we'll continue to discuss the topics that we have on there. However, I can at least announce, because it got spoiled yesterday because he decided to spoil it. Our next guest following into April is Grammy-nominated producer and one half of Thunderpuss, Chris Cox, will be joining us on the program here on VRCDJ Live to talk about disco, to talk about IRL producing, working with large artists like Britney Spears and Whitney Houston, and what it's like to do IRL stuff, and the gripes of doing IRL stuff, as well as producing and DJing on Twitch, which he's actually on board to becoming partner on Twitch. So you do not want to miss that. That is going to be happening sometime the first Thursday of April. Again, Grammy nominated producer and DJ Chris Cox will be joining us. I'm so amped for that episode. So make sure that, He's a legend.
exciting.
He's a living legend. So
Sounds
have him on the
very
program.
exciting.
You gotta watch. If you are interested in disco or anything like that, that is gonna be your alley. So for our guest CopperTFox and the staff behind the glass of VRCDJLIVE, I'm Rob Roman. Thank you guys for coming by, and we will see you next time.